Everybody, welcome to this latest edition here of, I guess you'd say, Halloween Talk. We're going to talk about Halloween week, really. Very interesting stuff has been trending. We hinted at it. We've hinted at it off and on for a while, but really last night was the first time we've got a chance to visually show a lot of the data trying to hint at it, especially the European ensembles, and we're going to take a look at some of the data today and let you know how things are trending for that week. But we got to get through a couple things first before we get that far. First off, tonight, nice and quiet once again across the Ohio Valley. We've got this front to our north. It'll sag a little closer to us by Thursday, and it may increase our clouds for Indiana. I don't think it's going to go all the way into the Commonwealth, but maybe cloudy at times for those of you from Seymour to Bedford for a while on Thursday. But that's really about the only main feature in the short term. Otherwise, it's going to be all this mess here across the Rockies. It's going to basically catch a ride in that northeast flow and send in moisture ahead of the front that'll build into the Ohio Valley. Now, it looks like at first the moisture stream, not oysters, but moisture, it's been a long day, is going to streak itself first into Indiana at some point Saturday. And then that band will work its way to the south and east slowly through the entire weekend. So the big question is that correct, first off, or is it going to streak right into Louisville and then work its way to the south? The models are kind of varying a little bit, but it makes a big difference for a lot of the events going on this weekend, plus or minus 5 or 6 hours in timing of rain streaking toward you. So that's why we really got to nail that down. So that's one issue we got to solve for the weekend. The other one, of course, is the one we've been hinting at for next week, and we talked about this last night. We've got Olaf, Hurricane Olaf, which I love that. Is going to get fed into the flow toward Alaska, and we got a couple of typhoons, developing typhoon and another typhoon in the western Pacific that also feed into building more of a ridge here across the Aleutian Islands, which should promote a trough in the eastern half of the country a few days after that. Typical theory, we talk about the recurving typhoon theory, and that looks to happen next week, which is why we have some headaches to get through on that. So let's talk about the front here for the weekend. Here's the Euro, and again, you see the rain streaking out at us as we head into Saturday morning, midday, and then by Saturday afternoon into Saturday night, it does get heavy at times. There's going to be enough forcing along this front. It's pretty decent, enough to where I think we'll have some lightning and thunder in some cases, nothing severe, but there could be some decent rain rates and banding features that could set up along this front, wherever this boundary is at this point, Saturday night. But then after that, the front just kind of loses its umph, if you will, by Sunday. So very scattered showers on Sunday and drizzle that'll be moving off to our south and eventually move all the way out of the picture the way it's looking by Sunday night and early Monday. But we're not done, because the boundary is still here. It's just silent, if you will. There's no energy traveling along it. It won't take long to get another round of moisture to ride along that boundary. This is the one that could be a little more potent, and we've got a pretty strong Vortmax dropping down on today's model runs about this point for Wednesday, next Wednesday, that combines with this front to really dig in the trough. And in some cases, some of this green here on Thursday may not all be rain. And I'll explain about that in a second, with heavy rain in the eastern seaboard. Gotta love this time of the year. All right, so let's dive into it. This is the map I've been showing on TV in the Euro, showing how the low digs in, connects to that front, cold air moves in. Now, I got the confidence meter on here. You're going to hear about this a lot. It's a thing we started this year, and you'll hear a lot about it this winter. We're going to start doing confidence scales on systems that are far out into the forecast future. And it's on a scale of 1 to 10. This one's going to be a 3. But only because I've only got a good 24 hours worth of data in my hands that are allowing me to say what I'm able to say on television for today. And that amount of information is just not much more that can get me higher than a 3 on confidence. So only a 3, but as always the case, we're going to be your station and your folks, just like we have been the past several years. They're always going to let you know well in advance if something's showing up that is worth interest, and we'll let you know if it fades away or it becomes more and more of a reality. You guys want to know. You have proven that to me many times. And so that's how it's looking for the 29th. And yes, there is a chance that there could be some snowflakes into the Ohio Valley with this cool snap. So let's look a little closer into that idea. First off, the indices. GFS, and you can see this is where the GFS is forecasting into the future here. When you see these lines, sorry, my pen's a little slow. And you see how each little squiggle is it's each different model run it's had of these different indices. And you see the GFS, I mean, it's really just been all over the place on trying to nail down the indices, the pattern here across the Northern Hemisphere. While the Euro doesn't have as much erraticity to it, it's much more focused on its forecast. So the Euro is definitely more of a way to go on the indices, and it's trending way negative on the Arctic Oscillation next week. It's trending negative on the NAO for a blocking pattern, which would support that digging trough into the Ohio Valley. And it's trending positive for the PNA, which supports, again, a trough in the eastern half of the country. So the Euro on indices lines up for what it is saying, which naturally it would. We would hope it would. The GFS is the one that's just, I mean, it's a mess. It's all over the place. In fact, the 18Z run just came in. And interestingly enough, the 18Z model run looked better for matching this scenario that the Euro has than the 12Z did, which I've seen that a lot last year. Not so much with the 6Z, with the 6Z and 18Z model runs, the ones that come out around sunrise and sunset in the wintertime, especially the ones we look at for snow. They usually are not given a lot of credit because they are not based on a lot of balloon data. They're based on different formation of the data that was collected earlier in the day. But sometimes I see the 18Z hint at the correct idea, and then it'll lose it. And then a week later, it ends up being right. So it's interesting to see the 18Z show the Euro today, because I'll be curious to see if it'll keep that trend at 0Z in the next update, or it loses it, which, knowing the GFS, it'll probably lose it. All right, so here's a look at the models. This is mainly for the 29th. The 29th and the 30th appears to be when the trough really digs in. And I know that's cutting it close to Halloween. A lot of you, I put a post on Facebook, and a lot of you are like, oh no, it's going to be crazy Halloween again. It's going to be cold. No, I didn't say that. Did not say that. Right now, the timing is the 29th and the 30th will be the core of this system. By the time we get into Halloween, if that timing holds, by the time we get into Halloween, we will begin a warming trend. So Halloween is not really as much of an issue being impacted as the couple days before it. So here's the, again, deterministic models of the Euro and the GFS. Canadian not available for that. But here are the ensembles, GFS, Euro, and Canadian. The Euro, once again, just looking at the ensembles, just like last night. The Euro, again, showing that trough right there. The other two, I mean, the Canadian is a little more aggressive with it than the GFS is, that's for sure. But look at the deterministic model of the Euro. I mean, flat out, boom, cold core right over us in the Ohio Valley on the Euro. The GFS is like, well, maybe. There's a chance. So, at least the ensembles, and this is the reason why I even mentioned it all, is because the ensembles agreed with deterministic that it looks to be a decent trough. So, question is what form is it going to be in? I know you guys want to know, and I really can't answer that right now this far out. What I can show you is at least some of the data, give you a general idea of what is most likely to happen. First off, I did want to mention, here's the Japanese model. The link goes out until Wednesday, but it is trending. If you were to see an animation of this, it is trending, same as the Euro. All right, here is the moisture level at 700 millibars. This is a good area to look at for moisture content to produce anything, whether it's a raindrop or a snowflake. Moisture is a little limited along Kentucky, and it increases closer to the upper low itself into Indiana and Ohio. There's a decent amount of moisture at 700 millibars on the backside for Thursday. And when you look aloft, 850 temperatures, once you go below zero, which is the edge of the white line here, that is when you run into the typical rain-snow line aloft. But when you get into like -7, -8, even this time of the year, that is cold enough for a snowflake to fall from the sky. But then here comes the problem. It's not so much aloft. It's the temperatures closer to the ground. Now, in this area, yeah, they're cold enough that you can get some snowflakes to mix in with the rain, if not pure snow flurries in this region, north of I-70. But here in southern Indiana, northern Kentucky, boundary layer temps is what we call that, closer to the lower 40s. And if that were to be the reality, it would be really tough. It would depend on how thick that cold layer is to keep that snowflake all the way through before it would melt. It would certainly melt on contact. This is not an icy road deal or anything like that. But I know you snow lovers want to see a snowflake fall. And in order for us to see that at our level, that cold layer is going to be pretty thick, and this boundary layer of warmth of the surface is going to be pretty shallow. And right now, for October standards, that's tough to do. So we may end up just seeing a cold drizzle, and you may have to travel north if you want to see anything frozen. And even then, again, it's going to be very light, not a big deal for travel by any stretch. But that is the way the data looks now. And we'll just have to wait and see how it looks as we go along each and every day. Y'all know how this works out. Who knows? It'll probably be sunny and 80 by the time we get down with all this data, by the time we get into the 29th of October. I hope not, because that means models are really doing a bad job. Anyway, I will see you guys coming up tonight at 11 o'clock. That's your assessment for tonight. I got to get back to my Mountain Dew now.